Hi there, I thought we'd do something a little different today, and this is kind of a little bit of play. And I wanted to honor that time between Samhain and Yule, or I'm basing this on the Nightmare Before Christmas movie. So that time between Halloween and Christmas. And you could do this as a tag. It also has some interactive components to it. So let's get started.
I have a special present just for you.
Some prompts. The first prompt is the Pumpkin King's deck of hidden strengths, and the choose a deck that always seems to reveal a strength you possess but you overlook. And so I always find that the Witch's Tarot shows me my strengths and sometimes strengths that are hidden. I'm going to warn you, this deck has a lot of nudity in it. So if you have young children or you don't want to see nudity, then I would fast forward. So the deck that I'm showing you is by Burning Paper Hearts, and it is a very witchy deck. It also has some extra cards in it, and I often leave them in. And it's a very magical, very dark crone energy deck, and it's got a lot of witchy power to this deck, feminine power, and it's a deck that has a lot of strength, and it taps into that crone energy so well. And it's just a very different deck than anything else I have. And the moment I saw it, I fell in love with it. There's a majors only deck, and I didn't know that that the full deck was going to come out. So when the full deck came out, I couldn't wait to back it on Kickstarter. And this one adds a bunch of cards that are actually really cool. So it's kind of like a tarot oracle, or you could take those out if you don't want to use it that way. But this is really quite a powerful deck. This is the creator, and that's I think the only male figure in the deck is the creator. So it's mostly, but they'll have a card like Hakate. So it's mostly a very feminine crone-based power deck. So it's unique in that. And the fact that it's photography and such a beautiful photographic deck, and then you'll have like Burn at the Stake, just makes it really, really unique. This is the creator again, the Fool. And I've never seen anything like it. I really love this deck, and I never get a bad reading from this deck. And it always gives me something that helps me. All right, well, I've shown this deck before, so I won't show you the whole thing, but let's do a little shuffling. I can do this off camera. This deck shuffles really nice, by the way. Shuffles really beautifully, and it's got a black edging on it that's very matte. It's really beautiful. Mine's chipping because I've used it so much, but it's a lovely edging on the deck. And I think he did a reprint of this deck. I'm not sure if it has the black edging or not. I can't remember. So anyway, let's draw a card to help us see what inner power lies waiting for us to recognize. And I got the Fool. So the inner power that the deck is trying to show me right now that I don't know is a playfulness and a willingness to just take a risk and jump out into the unknown. And what a perfect way to start this tag. So that's really fun. All right, next prompt is Spiral Hill Deck of Paths. And this is a deck that shows you different paths you could take in life. This is also a very, very witchy deck, and it's just gorgeous. And I think I have every version of this. This is the first version, and it's just such a lovely deck. It often goes back and forth between being in my very top 5 decks. I really love it, and I always love it, and I never get tired of this deck. It's just gorgeous, and there's mermaids, and there's witches, and there's Egyptian mythology in here, and it's just a really cool deck. I really love that sun card. I think it's gorgeous. This is a beautiful deck, and it goes in and out of print, and there's always different versions of it, but I often end up going back to this version. This was my first version. Love the 10 of Wands, but it's quite the gorgeous deck. Oops, I hear somebody whistling. So for this prompt, we're going to pick a card. We'll just do a quick shuffle and see what path is being highlighted right now and what potential does it hold. So show me what path is being highlighted. And that's the Chariot. And the potential it holds, we'll draw another card. The Ace of Pentacles. So wow, that's quite a pair there. We're being shown that we have some movement and that we can create something really good. And it's kind of funny because for me, that relates to something I'm doing right now. So this is kind of a perfect draw for what I want to do. And I was kind of questioning it, but wow, that is very powerful. All right, the next prompt is Deck of Sally's Secrets. Hidden within the deck are whispers and premonitions of Sally's visions. And I picked Mio Ends because I've been playing with this so much since summer. And I'm really just loving this deck this year. And it definitely has the whispers and premonitions of visions in it. And if I was going to pick a deck that is like that, it's this one for sure. It's just looks at the tarot a little bit of a different way, and it's really beautiful. And I've been really loving this deck. It is a bit tall, so I see that I got an extra card in there, and I'll just show you this deck. It's fairly simple, but it's powerful, and it just has a really different interpretation of things. Such a beautiful deck, and it just is really, really enjoyable. And it's interesting how at first I wasn't as fascinated by this deck, and I got it and I played with it a little, and then this year, I don't know what it was, something just called me to it, and I picked it up and haven't stopped using it since summer. And I don't want to stop using it. Even though it, it was 95, I still turn to this deck. It does seem to fit more this time of year, although it has been quite warm here. But it's really a cool deck. And I think it's getting more attention on Instagram this year than it has in the past. But I've really enjoyed playing with this. Like, look at that King of Cups. In the water with the skull, and the crown is floating. And the Seven of Swords. And I love the crown made out of branches and the Seven of Cups and how everything's floating. Look at that Chariot. It's really unique and has a really different interpretation. The tattoos in this deck are very cool. I love the Queen of Wands and the Six of Cups. It's something special for sure. And it's really enjoyable to me this year. It's been one of my favorite decks since summer. It's right up there for sure. I'll just show you the rest of the deck, because I enjoy looking at it every time myself. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick little shuffle here. I I do sideways shuffle this deck because it's long. And it's kind of the easiest way. I like shuffling, side shuffling these decks that are long. And we're gonna draw a card to see what hidden truth the deck offers to illuminate our path forward. And we have the Devil. Ooh, that is interesting. So maybe I'm gonna take some of that devil energy and take a chance with it, because sometimes the devil warns us that we're overindulging and we need to be careful. But in this situation, maybe we need to take more chances and let ourselves have some fun. So what a cool card. And I like this one because you can see the little horns, and then you see there's a needle sticking through. So it's kind of cool. Next prompt is the Oogie Boogie deck of dares. Only the brave draw from Oogie Boogie's deck, which is a deck that challenges you to face your deepest fears. So for that, I picked the Somnia Tarot by Nicholas Bruno. I love this deck. It is really, really cool. And at first, I think I was intimidated by it a little, so I didn't back it on Kickstarter. It's a photography deck, so I love photography decks, so surprisingly, I didn't back it. But it did freak me out a little bit. And the heads are covered with a cloth. And I don't know what it was. Something about that just gave me the creeps. But this deck is really good when you're stuck and you think, ugh, something's holding me back, and I'm not sure what I'm afraid of. I just don't know. This deck can really show you. And I think it's just spectacularly beautiful. And I don't know what it is. I just want to use it a lot now because I love this card, the King of Wands. I love so many cards in it now. And it doesn't freak me out anymore because I've gotten used to it. But it does show me what I'm afraid of. And it took me a while to really want to get this deck. But once I got it, I fell in love with it. I don't think I realized how beautiful it was until I got it in my hands. And then ever since, I just can't really stop playing with it. So, and I really like what they show and the way they show things. And it's very RWS, but it also shows things in a different way. And it's helpful when you're looking at certain things. All right, so we're gonna draw a little card here. And this deck is a little stiff, so it's harder to shuffle than some of the other ones. You can side shuffle it too. But I often end up riffle shuffling it anyway. It has broken in some, but it is still stiff. It'll probably always be a little stiff. So I'm gonna draw a card to see what daunting task is calling me to step up and conquer it, or calling you to step up and conquer it. What do we have? We have the Ten of Wands. So we're overburdened. We're called to conquer that, to move forward, and to really look at what we have in our life that's a burden and not a joy, and maybe move away from that and don't let it burden us anymore. So say no to things, and don't just say yes. Say, no, that's too much. I can't do it. Sorry. And if you look at this card, it's really interesting because she's tied to this chandelier, but she could just move out of the way and not hold that up anymore, and then kind of unwind from the rope. But instead, she's putting her head down and not looking. But I think that's a great card for a burden to look at. All right, next prompt is the Town Square Deck of Spirits. And for this prompt, I picked the Practical Magic Inner Witch Tarot. And this is by Grounded by the Moon. And this deck comes with a little guidebook, has some spread cards, and then it has the sabbats in here. And I'm just going to remove those because we don't need them doing these readings, but I just wanted to show them to you. So this is a beautiful deck. It's got a black background, and then it takes cues from the movie Practical Magic, which I totally love watching this time of year. Well, really any time of year. And then it's got the symbols so we know what suit we're in. So the symbols are air, which is the triangle up with the line through it, and then fire is just the upward triangle, and then water is a downward triangle without a line, and earth is the downward triangle like that with the line. So it's just like 4 symbols. You can figure it out pretty easy. I'm going to leave the full moon and new moon cards in. But this is fun to use this time of year, and it brings in a little bit of the movie Practical Magic, so you gotta always love that. Or if you like that movie. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a pretty amazing one. It's a great spooky season movie. But I think most people have seen it, if nothing else, to look at the beautiful house, because everybody wants that house. It's gorgeous. All right, so that is Practical Magic Inner Witch Tarot. And we're going to draw, first we'll shuffle. And then we're going to draw a card. No, we'll draw 2 cards about relationship. So we'll draw a card about what is the deck pointing us to. And then we'll draw a card to see what wisdom or action we can use to go towards that. All right. What connection is the deck pointing us towards? So we have the 4 of fire. So celebration. So next I'm going to draw a card to show what action we need to take. So we're going to do this at the new moon. So we're going to do a little celebration at the new moon so we can bring in more of what we've already accomplished. That's kind of perfect. That's fun. Next prompt is Zero's Dream. With Zero as your guide through the mist, this deck reveals your deepest wishes. And the reason I picked this deck is because it's not really a deck about tarot reading. It's a deck about magic. And so it's a majors only deck. These prompts are really good for using majors only if you want, because of the meaning of the majors and how powerful they are. So it might be great if you wanted to use all majors, for example, in this, or you could take the majors out of your deck and use it that way. But it's some great prompts for using majors only. So with Zero as your guide, this deck reveals your deepest wishes. And so because it's a magical deck, it does work with your deepest wishes. And this is an old deck, and it's really different, and it's in French, but it's a great deck to use for something that you want to bring into your life, a deep wish. And so it has some drawn nudity. By the way, all these cards, or all my decks, have some nudity, or a lot of them do. So this is a beautiful deck and really a good one to use for tarot magic. All right, so let's draw a card to see what dreams Zero encourages us to pursue right now. So what do we have? We have the Devil. It's okay. I'm getting some devil energy today. So we're going to pursue some hedonistic type behavior a little bit. Let ourselves have some fun. So that is kind of funny and different, but I guess we're really being told today we need to let loose a little bit. We've been too uptight and too conservative. So that's our message for that. All right, the second part of this prompt is Zero's guidance. What has been a light in the dark for you during tough times? And it's been a difficult year. Lots happened. There's been a lot of changes. I lost a very good friend to suicide. And this deck has just been a light in the dark for me. And it is a deck that I just cherish. And I use it all the time. And I just love it. So this is a Minkiati deck. It has extra cards in it. And it reads different than other decks. But I love Minkiati decks. Sometimes I wish they could all be Minkiati decks. But it's just been a comfort to me this year. And I really love it, and I really cherish it. I feel blessed to have received this deck this year, because it's really helped me kind of look at things through a different light. So, what is my light to look forward to during my tough times? And I have the Three of Hearts. So I can surround myself with friends and companionship and just hang out with really close friends that can help me through things and just enjoy life. The Sistine Tarot, it's out of print. It's by Rose Bay. All right, next prompt is the Jack in the Box Surprise, a deck holding a surprising revelation about your journeys. And for this, I picked The Nightmare Before Christmas because I love this deck. And this deck is always surprising to me. It was surprising from the day I got it. I really... And look, Zero is the star. I love the movie. We watched this, I bet, 10 times every year as the kids were growing up. It just was such an amazing part of our lives, and everybody in the family loved this movie and still do, and I still watch it every year. I still go down to the Haunted Mansion every year around Thanksgiving time so I can see the overlay of The Nightmare Before Christmas on the Haunted Mansion, and it's so fun. This year I only got to go once a day because there was a queue due to some construction going on. So it was kind of sad because I didn't get to go as much as I normally do. Normally I get off the ride and go on the ride again and again and again, and I just get back in line. But this year I was not able to do that. So that was unfortunate. But this deck has just been a delight, and this is a deck that has a lot of pips, but the pips are really well done and they're really cool, and I really, really enjoy them. And this is one of 3, I think, Inside Edition decks I own. I own this one, and I just got the Horror Tarot last year and then Beetlejuice Tarot this year. And I love them all. I love the cardstock on this one. I think it's really great cardstock. And I'm just, even though this is a mass market deck, I've just been incredibly happy with it and really love it and think it's really representative of the movie. So just a lot of fun. And just so much a part of my family and reminders of so much happy things. So that is the Jack in the Box Surprise, The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'm going to draw a card, and we'll just do a quick little shuffling here. Oh, and this thing shuffles like a dream. On top of the cardstock, just feels so great. It just shuffles so well, too. I love the way this deck shuffles. It shuffles so nice. I have not edged it. I should edge it, but sometimes when I have decks that feel so great and they shuffle so well, I have trouble wanting to edge them because I feel like sometimes it can change how a deck shuffles. And this one shuffles great, and everything about it is just great. So, what unexpected twist or gift is waiting to spring into your life? The Page of Candles. So here, the Page of Candles is about creation and creating new ideas and just having a solid, stable foundation, but yet moving forward, bringing ideas in, and kind of perfect for this type of reading. So this is a great card to get here because it talks about being able to move forward. So that's really a fun card to draw. Next prompt is the Candy Cane Forest. Christmas Town is filled with sweet surprises. Show us a deck that has lots of just sweet surprises for you. And I picked the Tarot Mystique for this. And this is by Octavia Monaco. And this deck is just full of beautiful surprises. And it's just always got something to see. And it's just beautiful. It's so unique. It is a majors only deck, but like I was saying earlier, this is a great tag to use majors only decks in. And so I thought this would be fun to use for this prompt, just because it's always got some really cool surprise. And so we're gonna draw a card that shows us something sweet or delightful along our path. Or a blessing, or something joyful that's coming. And we have the Hierophant, or Le Maître des Arcans. So we have something that we either can look to somebody that's going to help us along our path, or we're going to be that path for somebody else. And it's going to be really impactful because it's going to be a little bit of a surprise, and it's going to be a super sweet relationship. And you can see the Hierophant has the little dragon curled on their lap. And then we have just little things in here with the owl for wisdom and the light bulbs. Just a really cool, beautiful deck. All right, lastly, we're doing the firework finale. Show us a deck that has great climatic moments in it. And for that, I picked Leota's Mansion Tarot because, like I talked about the Haunted Mansion before, this deck just feels like this time of year, and it just has these such dramatic moments because the Haunted Mansion is kind of a dramatic thing. And even though this is not Nightmare Before Christmas, it's a little tied into the Nightmare Before Christmas, especially Madame Leota, because if you go through the Haunted Mansion right now, you still see touches of the old Haunted Mansion, like the Hatback Ghost and Madame Leota.
And golden sun, 3 lifelines extending help to those in need. 2 passion potions that love and romance may succeed. On the first day of Christmas, my ghoul love gave to me a star, a brilliant star for my fortune-carved tree. On the 13th day.
All right, let's draw a card to show us what chapter in our life is ready for transformation and to conclude. And we got the Hat Box, which is perfect because the Hat Box Ghost is one of my favorite characters in the Madame Leota universe. And the Hat Box is funny because the Hat Box is full of magic. So we're ready to transform our life with magic and things that are unexpected. So this is a very cool card there. There isn't a guidebook to this deck, so you have to just do your own meanings, but It's mostly majors only. There's a few extra cards, and we got one of the few extra cards. All right, thanks for watching. See ya. I hope this was really fun.